Beloved people of God, life has a way of placing us in seasons where it seems like everything is on pause. You pray, you fast, you believe, and yet the answer seems to take forever. And in those moments, the question rises in your heart, is this really a delay or is it preparation? What if the waiting you are experiencing is not denial but design? What if God is not punishing you, but rather preparing you? Many times what we call delay is simply the wisdom of God to ensure that when you rise, you never come down again. The danger is, if you don't interpret your seasons correctly, you will call what is divine preparation a satanic attack, and you will abort what was meant to lift you. Tonight, let me share with you how to discern if your delay is actually God's preparation for glory. Beloved, one of the greatest lessons you will ever learn in your walk through life is the power of aligning with divine timing. So many people have destroyed what should have been glorious because they could not discern seasons. There is a rhythm in the spirit, there is a clock in heaven, and everything God does has an appointed time. When you learn to walk in alignment with that time, even what looks like a delay will be seen as preparation. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He may water it every day, he may care for the soil, but no matter how much he desires the harvest, he cannot force the seed to grow before its time. If he digs up the ground impatiently to check if the seed is growing, he might destroy the process. Many of us do this with our lives, constantly digging up what God has buried in us to see if it is ready, only to damage what should have blossomed beautifully. The seed knows its time, and when the season is right, it will break the ground without asking for your permission. Sometimes, what you call delay is God aligning the calendar of your life with the calendar of destiny. If a child is born prematurely, it may survive but with complications. Many people have forced premature breakthroughs and ended up with complications they could not manage. But when you wait and allow God's time to speak, when the fullness of the season comes, you will rise without struggle. Alignment with divine timing means understanding that speed without direction is a waste. You can run fast in the wrong season and end up exhausted, broken, and bitter. But when you walk slowly in the right season, you will arrive at the place where grace and opportunity collide. There is a beauty in knowing that your times are in God's hands and that He makes all things beautiful in His time. Let me tell you a story from daily life. Have you ever been at an airport and seen people waiting for their flight? The plane may be delayed and you see passengers murmuring, restless, frustrated. Some even shot at the staff demanding answers. But imagine if the airline allowed the plane to take off in unsafe weather simply to satisfy angry passengers. Disaster would follow. What looks like delay is sometimes safety. What feels like disappointment is actually preservation. When God keeps you waiting, He may be avoiding a storm you cannot see. You are on the runway of destiny, and though you are impatient to fly, He knows that if you take off at the wrong time, the turbulence could destroy you. Many people fail because they cannot interpret divine timing. When your neighbor rises before you, it does not mean you are forgotten. It simply means your flight has a different schedule. Imagine two people waiting at the same airport. One boards at 7 p.m., another at 10 p.m. If the person with the 10 p.m. ticket gets angry because someone else boarded earlier, he will only frustrate himself. His own boarding pass is valid for a later time. Beloved, your destiny has a boarding pass. Stop comparing your flight with someone else's. Alignment with divine timing also means trusting that delays in life are not wasted time but preparation time. When a woman is pregnant, the baby needs 9 months. It does not matter how rich or impatient she is, the process cannot be rushed. If she forces it, she risks losing the child. In the same way, the visions and dreams God has placed inside you require incubation. Your season of waiting is not a barren season. It is a womb carrying the future. Sometimes God will even slow you down because what is ahead is not yet ready for you. He may hold you back because the stage you are meant to stand on is still being built. Have you ever gone to a theater too early before the play begins? The lights are not yet ready, the actors are not in position, and the stage is incomplete. But when the right time comes, the curtain lifts and everything looks glorious. Your life is like that stage. God is setting up the lights, arranging the audience, preparing the script. If He reveals you too early, you will stand on an empty stage and wonder why no one is clapping. The beauty of divine timing is that it teaches you humility and trust. When you know that life is not about rushing but about alignment, you stop competing with others. You no longer feel threatened by their success. You understand that God has His own calendar for you. Have you noticed that the sun and the moon never clash? Each has its appointed time to shine. The sun does not complain when the moon appears, and the moon does not compete with the sun. They both serve their purpose in their season. In the same way, when your time comes, no force on earth will stop you from shining. Alignment with divine timing also saves you from unnecessary pain. Many people marry the wrong person because they could not wait. Many take jobs they were never meant to take because they could not wait. Many enter partnerships that destroy them because they could not wait. But when you wait for God's time, even if it looks like a delay, you will enter into rest. Beloved, waiting is not wasting. Every day of your waiting is a day of shaping, molding, strengthening. God is not just preparing the blessing for you, He is preparing you for the blessing. When the two meet at the exact point of divine timing, it will look like a miracle, but it was preparation all along. Alignment with divine timing is knowing that God is never late. He is never too early. He arrives exactly when your life, your heart, your environment, and your destiny are aligned. When that moment comes, what you prayed for will no longer look like a prayer. It will look like a reward. And you will realize that what you thought was delay was God writing a masterpiece called glory. Beloved, when we talk about the making of capacity, we are speaking about one of the most misunderstood processes in life. Many people cry for glory, for influence, for open doors, for opportunities, but they forget that glory has weight, and weight requires strength. If you put heavy glory on a vessel without capacity, that vessel will break under the very blessing it prayed for. So God, in His wisdom, often takes us through what looks like delay, but it is actually the building of capacity to handle the answers we are crying for. Imagine a young man who desires to drive a powerful car. The car is available, the money is there, the opportunity is present, but he has not yet learned how to drive. Will a loving father hand over the car to him simply because he is crying and asking? No, not because he is wicked, but because he knows that giving him what he asks for prematurely could kill him. So what looks like denial is actually protection. What looks like delay is actually preparation. Beloved, in the same way, many of us are praying for positions, wealth, marriage, influence, power, and increase, but God is saying, let me first make you into a person who can carry it. Capacity is built in the hidden place. Capacity is built in seasons where nobody claps for you, nobody notices you, nobody celebrates you, yet you keep going. It is in those seasons that your shoulders are being strengthened to handle tomorrow's weight. Do not despise the days of little beginnings, because those little beginnings are the gym where your capacity is being stretched. Think of a gym instructor training someone who has never lifted weights. He doesn't start with the heaviest barbell in the room. He begins with something small, something that looks insignificant. And as the person keeps lifting, their muscles tear, rebuild, and become stronger. Over time, what was once difficult becomes easy, and then they are ready for more. In the same way, God allows you to handle small responsibilities, small challenges, small battles, and as you endure, your capacity grows. Sometimes life will stretch you in ways that make you cry, but stretching is proof that you are growing. A rubber band that is never stretched will never discover how far it can go. Many of you are crying under the weight of your current battles. But what you do not know is that those very battles are preparing you for stages you have not yet seen. When tomorrow's opportunities come, you will look back and realize that your current pain was not punishment, it was capacity training. Think of a mother who is expecting a child. During pregnancy, her body begins to change. Her stomach stretches, her strength is tested, her sleep patterns shift. Sometimes she feels discomfort, sometimes even pain, but all of that is the making of capacity to carry life. If the body refused to stretch, the baby could not survive. In the same way, when God stretches you in your finances, in your relationships, in your responsibilities, it is because He is preparing you to carry something alive and great. Beloved, capacity is the difference between people who rise and collapse and people who rise and remain. Many people get blessed prematurely and it destroys them. They pray for wealth, but when it comes, they cannot manage it, and it becomes the very reason for their downfall. They pray for platforms, but when the spotlight comes, the lack of inner strength makes them fall to scandal and temptation. They pray for marriage, but without emotional capacity, what should be joy becomes sorrow. So God delays not because He has not heard you, but because He is working on your inner strength to carry what you asked for. Have you ever seen a small child begging to carry a heavy bucket of water? Out of pity, you may let him try, but as soon as he lifts it, he stumbles. The water spills and he falls. The bucket was not the problem. The water was not the problem. The child's capacity was the problem. Many of us are like that child. We are asking for things beyond our current capacity, and God in His mercy says, no, let me grow you first. Capacity also means emotional stability. If one criticism can break you, how will you handle the pressure of influence? If one betrayal can make you quit, how will you survive the reality of leadership? If one financial setback can make you doubt God, how will you manage the wealth of nations? Beloved, capacity is not just about size. It is about strength, resilience, maturity. Think of a bottle and a barrel. Both can carry liquid, but one can hold more without spilling. The difference is not in the liquid, it is in the container. Glory is the same. Opportunities are the same. But the measure of what you can hold is determined by your capacity. And God will not give you beyond your capacity, because He loves you too much to let the blessing destroy you. Life has a way of teaching capacity through pressure. The things you call challenges are God's school of capacity building. Every disappointment you survived, every delay you endured, every night you cried, but still woke up to keep moving, all of it was stretching you. Every closed door that forced you to wait longer was not rejection. It was God saying, I am building your shoulders, I am enlarging your heart, I am toughening your spirit, so that when the real blessing comes, you will not faint under it. Your beloved, capacity is proof that you are ready. Until you have the size to handle the weight of glory, God may keep you in what looks like delay. But when the making of capacity is complete, You will discover that the weight which would have crushed you before will now feel like a crown resting on your head. Beloved, one of the most powerful indicators that your waiting season is not really delay, but preparation is when you begin to see inner transformation taking place within you. Life has a way of teaching us that true change does not start on the outside, it starts on the inside. God is more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are receiving. Many people want open doors, breakthroughs, and opportunities, but the truth is, if your inner life is not transformed, what you are praying for will become a burden instead of a blessing. There are countless people who got what they were asking for, but because the transformation of their character did not match the blessing, it destroyed them. Money without transformation has ruined many destinies. Marriage without transformation has birthed stories of pain. Platforms without transformation have ended in disgrace. So sometimes God slows down the external breakthrough until he has completed the internal work. Inner transformation is the invisible curriculum of heaven. It is what happens when God shifts your heart, your values, your priorities, your thinking, your desires. It is when he teaches you patience in the middle of unanswered prayers. It is when he teaches you gratitude in the face of little. It is when he teaches you humility even when you have the chance to be arrogant. Think of a sculptor working on a rough block of marble. To the untrained eye, the block looks ordinary, meaningless, maybe even useless. But in the vision of the sculptor, there is a masterpiece hidden inside. Every strike of the hammer, every careful cut, every painful removal of excess is not destruction but creation. The block might feel like it is being broken, but in truth is being shaped into something glorious. Beloved, that is how God works on us during what we call delay. He chips away at pride. He carves out fear. He smooths the rough edges of anger. He polishes away doubt. By the time he is done, the world sees a masterpiece, but only you know the hammer and chisel that brought you there. Inner transformation is tested in daily life. Maybe you used to get easily offended, but in your waiting season, you find yourself learning to let go. Maybe you used to measure your worth by what people said, but in your waiting season, you are learning to stand firm, even when no one applauds. Maybe you used to panic when things didn't go your way, but in your waiting season, you discover a peace that passes understanding. These are signs that the waiting has become a school of transformation. Consider a seed planted in the soil. What happens in the ground is invisible to everyone else. It looks like nothing is happening, but beneath the soil, the seed is breaking, changing, dying to its old form, so it can rise in a new form. If you look too early, you will think the seed has been buried in vain. But in truth, it is going through inner transformation. When the appointed time comes, the seed no longer looks like what it used to be. Delay is like the soil. It hides you, it presses you, it seems dark, but within that darkness, God is working something you cannot see, beloved. Inner transformation is more valuable than outer change, because outer change without inner transformation will never last. Have you ever seen someone win a lottery? In a moment, their finances change, but because their mindset is the same, within a few years, the money is gone. There was outer change without inner transformation. This is why God sometimes withholds certain blessings until you are not only ready to receive them, but also ready to sustain them. Every time you wait, ask yourself this question: what is God teaching me? What part of my heart is he working on? Am I becoming more patient? Am I learning to trust? Am I growing in love? Am I breaking free from envy and comparison? Because if you come out of a waiting season the same way you entered, you wasted it. Think about a student preparing for an exam. The teacher delays the promotion until the student has mastered the lessons. If the teacher promotes him without preparation, he may celebrate for a moment, but he will fail at the next level. Your life is the same. God is a good teacher. He will not let you advance until the inner lessons are written in your heart. Sometimes the transformation is about teaching you compassion. You may be crying about your struggles now, but one day when God lifts you, those same struggles will allow you to comfort others. Without the waiting season, you would not have the depth of empathy required to lead, to inspire, to help. Have you noticed how people who have been through storms have a different weight when they speak? Their words are not just theory, they carry life. That is what transformation produces. Beloved, do not despise the small shifts you see inside you. The way you no longer panic when things delay. The way you have learned to forgive quicker. The way you find joy in little things. These are not small victories, they are signs of inner transformation. When God is preparing you for glory, he is not just giving you what you want, he is making you into someone who can reflect him. Inner transformation means learning that the blessing is not just about you. The wealthy influence, the platform you are crying for, God wants to use them through you, not just give them to you. But until you are transformed, you will think everything is about you. Waiting seasons break selfishness. They shift you from asking only what you want to asking what God wants. When this shift happens, you know your delay has been preparation. Have you noticed that the butterfly cannot become what it is meant to be until it goes through the cocoon? In that tight, dark place, transformation is happening. The butterfly is not delayed. It is being redefined. If you break the cocoon too early to release it, the wings will never develop. In the same way, when you are in your cocoon season, it looks like nothing is moving. It feels suffocating, but transformation is happening. Beloved, one of the surest ways to know that what you call delay is not really delay but preparation is when God begins to separate you and call you into deeper consecration. Separation is one of the most painful yet powerful processes in destiny because it pulls you away from what is familiar, comfortable, and popular and places you on a path that sometimes feels lonely, misunderstood, and even unnecessary. But hear me, separation is never punishment. It is divine strategy. God does not separate you because he wants you to suffer. He separates you because he wants to preserve you for something greater than your environment can offer. In life, not everyone who starts with you will walk with you into your destiny. Some people are good for your beginning, but they are not meant for your future. You may love them, you may enjoy their company, but destiny is too costly to be shared with everyone. Have you noticed that before surgery, the doctor separates the patient from the crowd, places them in a sterilized room, and then begins the operation? It is not because the crowd is evil, but because the environment of surgery requires separation. In the same way, when God is about to operate on your life, when he is preparing you for glory, he will begin to separate you from certain people, certain habits, certain places. Many of you are crying that people walked away from your life, but what you call rejection is actually God's selection. There are friendships you lost not because you were bad, but because you were being preserved. If some people stayed in your life longer, they would have polluted the purity of what God is doing in you. There are environments God pulled you out of, not because they were completely evil, but because your spirit needed a consecrated space to grow. Separation is never easy, but it is always necessary. Think about a student preparing for a serious exam. While others are playing, laughing, and wasting time, the serious student withdraws to the library, shuts the door, and focuses. His friends may mock him, call him boring, accuse him of wasting his youth, but on the day of results, the difference becomes clear. Beloved, consecration looks like isolation today, but tomorrow it will look like distinction. When God begins to separate you, sometimes he will hide you. He will not allow your name to spread too quickly. He will keep you out of certain platforms, and you will wonder why others are shining while you are in the background. But he knows that premature exposure can destroy destiny. Have you ever wondered why diamonds are hidden deep inside the earth? Why gold must be separated from soil before it becomes valuable? In the same way, separation hides you so that when you finally appear, you carry a weight that cannot be ignored. Consecration means God is drawing boundaries around your life. While others can live carelessly, you cannot. While others can compromise and get away with it, you cannot. While others can joke with their time, their purity, their focus, you cannot. If you are chosen, you are marked. And when you are marked, your life is no longer your own. Beloved, do not envy those who seem free to live anyhow. Their path is different. When God sets you apart, it is because he wants your life to carry a fragrance that cannot be found in the crowd. Daily life itself shows us this principle. When an athlete is preparing for a major competition, his lifestyle changes. He wakes up earlier than others. He eats differently. He trains harder. He denies himself pleasures that others enjoy. His friends may laugh at him, but when he stands on the podium with the gold medal, everyone celebrates him. The season of separation is always lonely, but the reward is never lonely. Consecration is what makes your life a testimony others cannot deny. Sometimes separation even happens in your career or business. God may deny you opportunities that seem good simply because they are not aligned with your destiny. You may watch others celebrate promotions, travel, or achievements while you are stuck in what looks like delay. But beloved, that delay is divine consecration. God knows that not every good thing is a God thing. Some doors are traps in disguise, and because you are chosen, he will separate you from them. Separation also works on your appetite. The things you once loved, suddenly you lose interest in. The conversations that used to excite you, now they bore you. The places you used to enjoy, now they drain you. It is not that you became strange, it is that consecration is working. God is detoxing your spirit, removing old desires so he can plant new ones. Have you ever seen how wine is made? The grapes are crushed, then separated from the skin, the seeds, the waste. Only the pure juice is preserved for fermentation. Without separation, there is no wine. Without consecration, there is no anointing. Beloved, when God allows you to be crushed, when he separates you from things that once defined you, it is because he is producing something strong and lasting out of your life. Separation may also come through silence. There are seasons when God will shut every voice around you so you can hear him clearly. Suddenly the calls stop, the attention disappears, the invitations dry up. It feels like you are forgotten, but in truth you are being focused. Sometimes the crowd is too noisy for you to discern God's whisper, so he separates you. In that silence, your roots grow deeper, your convictions grow stronger, your intimacy becomes unshakable. Beloved, consecration is not just about what you leave behind, it is about what you gain. When God separates you from something, it is because he wants to separate you onto something greater. Every time he says no to a person, a place, or an opportunity, it is because he is saying yes to a destiny you cannot see yet. When you understand this, you stop fighting separation and you start embracing it as preparation. Beloved, when we speak about refinement through fire, we are speaking about one of the deepest mysteries of destiny. Fire is uncomfortable. Fire is painful. Fire is consuming, but fire is also purifying. Every man and woman that carries authentic glory must first pass through seasons of fire. You cannot escape it because glory is heavy and costly, and the only way to sustain it is through refinement. When gold is mined from the ground, it does not look beautiful. It is mixed with dirt, stones, and impurities. If you saw it in that raw state, you would never believe it carries such beauty and value. The process that gives gold its brilliance is fire. The fire does not destroy the gold, it removes what is not gold. In the same way, when God allows you to walk through fiery seasons, it is not to kill you, it is to remove what does not look like Him inside you. Fire in destiny can look like disappointments, betrayals, failures, closed doors, unanswered prayers. You cry and wonder why God would let you go through so much pain, but the truth is that pain is the furnace of transformation. Have you noticed that people who have never gone through anything deep often have shallow words? But those who have been refined by fire speak with a weight that cannot be faked. Think about a student who dreams of becoming a surgeon. Before they are allowed to touch a human life, they must endure years of difficult training, sleepless nights, endless practice, and examinations that stretch them to their limits. The training feels like fire, but it is necessary, because if they are not refined, one mistake could cost a life. In the same way, beloved, God loves you too much to hand you influence, wealth, or power without refining you. If you are not processed, your gift will destroy you instead of lifting you. The fire you go through exposes you to yourself. It reveals the pride you did not know was there, the fears you did not admit, the selfishness you were blind to. When everything is comfortable, you can hide behind excuses. But when the fire comes, it strips away all pretenses. The fire does not lie. It will show you if your faith is genuine or borrowed. It will show if your love for God is true or transactional. Beloved, daily life gives us many examples of refinement through fire. Think of how glass is made. Ordinary sand is heated under intense fire until it melts and transforms into something transparent and beautiful. Without fire, it remains common sand. Or think of pottery. The clay may be shaped into a vessel, but until it goes into the furnace, it cannot hold water, it cannot stand pressure, it cannot be useful. The fire hardens it, strengthens it, and seals its shape. Many of you are in seasons right now where it feels like everything is against you. You are misunderstood by friends, rejected by people you trusted. You face financial storms, emotional storms, spiritual storms. Beloved, do not despise that season. That is fire, and the fire is working for you. The very tears you are shedding are washing away impurities that success would have magnified if God gave it to you too early. Fire also teaches compassion. When you have gone through struggles, you become tender towards others. You stop judging people too quickly because you know what it feels like to be broken. You learn to extend grace because you yourself needed grace in your season of fire. Have you noticed that some of the most compassionate leaders are those who suffered before they rose? That compassion is the fruit of refinement. Fire also reorders priorities. When everything is stripped away, you learn what truly matters. Many people are attached to things that have no eternal value. But when the fire comes, it removes distractions and focuses your heart on what is important. You learn that joy is not in possessions, peace is not in circumstances, and worth is not in applause. These revelations only come from the fire. Think about the story of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Inside the cocoon there is pressure, darkness, and struggle. The caterpillar must fight its way out, and the very struggle strengthens its wings. If you cut open the cocoon to rescue it, the butterfly will emerge weak and unable to fly. The struggle was its fire, and that fire was its preparation for flight. Beloved, your current struggles are building wings for your future. Refinement through fire is God's way of making sure that when He lifts you, you will last. Too many people rise quickly but fall just as quickly because they avoided the fire. They manipulated their way into opportunities. They forced doors open, they escaped the furnace of process, and now they are shining without purity. But fireproof glory is always lasting glory. Beloved, when you look at a diamond, you admire its brilliance. But few people talk about the heat and pressure it endured deep underground. What makes the diamond shine is the very fire it survived. In the same way, what will make your life shine is not the absence of trials, but the refinement that trials produced. Do not curse your fire. Do not run from it. Understand that every flame has been measured, every temperature calculated, every furnace regulated by the hand of a loving God who knows exactly how much you can bear. Fire may bend you, but it will not break you. It may wound you, but it will also heal you. It may strip you, but it will also clothe you with glory that cannot fade. Beloved, one of the mysteries of what we call delay is that many times it is not delay at all, it is divine positioning. Divine positioning means that God is arranging the pieces of your life like a master chess player. It means that what looks like stagnation is actually God making sure you are in the right place, at the right time, with the right people for the right opportunity. Divine positioning is God saying, I am preparing the stage, I am aligning the actors, I am writing the script. And when the curtain opens, you will understand why I kept you where I kept you. Life itself teaches us this principle if we pay attention. Think of a GPS system. When you miss a turn, the GPS does not throw away the journey. It simply recalculates and positions you back on track. You may think you are wasting time, but the system knows that as long as you remain on the road, you will arrive. Beloved, God's dealings with your life are like that GPS. Even when it looks like you are stuck, even when it feels like you are behind, He is positioning you in ways that you cannot see. Divine positioning means that God will sometimes keep you in what looks like obscurity because He is aligning you with an environment that will matter for your destiny. Have you ever wondered why certain doors did not open for you? Why certain opportunities slipped away? Why certain people walked out of your life? Sometimes it was not rejection, it was redirection. If those doors had opened, you would have ended up in the wrong room. If those people had stayed, they would have distracted you from your true assignment. Think of a farmer preparing his field. He does not scatter seeds carelessly. He positions them in soil where they can grow. If a seed could speak, it might complain about being buried in darkness, wondering why it cannot see the light. But the farmer knows what he is doing. The seed is not abandoned, it is positioned, and in the right season, that positioning will speak. Beloved, your life is like that seed. What you call burial is really planting, and planting is always about positioning. Daily life gives us so many pictures of this. Imagine an archer pulling back the string of his bow. The arrow feels like it is being drawn backwards, away from the target. But the backward pull is not punishment, it is positioning. The tension is necessary for accuracy. The further the pull, the greater the force of release. When God pulls you back in life, when it feels like you are moving in the opposite direction of your dreams, it is only because He's positioning you for a launch that will shock even you. Sometimes divine positioning comes through delay because the stage you are meant to stand on is not ready yet. Have you ever arrived at a theater too early before the play begins? The curtains are down, the lights are off, the seats are empty, and you wonder if you came to the wrong place. But if you wait, you discover that you were simply early. Many of us cry because our lives feel empty, silent, and hidden, but beloved, maybe you are simply early. God is still preparing the audience, still setting the lights, still rehearsing the cast. When the appointed time comes, the curtain will rise and your positioning will make sense. There are times when divine positioning also involves people. God is not only working on you, He is working on your destiny helpers. The person who will recommend you, the person who will open that door, the person who will stand for you may not be ready yet. So God keeps you in waiting while He prepares them. Have you noticed how sometimes you meet someone by accident, and that one meeting changes everything? That is not accident, that is alignment. Consider the story of daily commuting. Sometimes you miss a bus or a train and you feel frustrated. But then you discover that the delay caused you to meet someone important, or it saved you from an unseen accident, or it aligned you with a better opportunity. In the moment it looked like inconvenience, but later it became clear it was positioning. Beloved, life with God works the same way. He knows what you don't know, He sees what you can't see, and so He positions you with precision. Divine positioning also works through location. Sometimes God will insist that you remain in a place you do not like, or take up an assignment that looks insignificant, because He knows that is where your breakthrough is tied. There are people who despise small beginnings, only to discover later that the relationships, the skills, the experiences they gained there were the very things that opened the bigger doors. Beloved, where you are now may not look glorious, but if God positioned you there, it is strategic. Have you ever watched a game of chess? The player will sometimes sacrifice a piece, move backward, or delay an attack because he is positioning for a checkmate. An inexperienced observer might think the player is losing, but the master knows that every move is calculated. In the same way, your life may look like you are behind, like others are ahead of you, like nothing is working. But God is the master strategist. He is positioning you for victory that will silence the enemy. Beloved, divine positioning means trusting the wisdom of God's arrangements. It means accepting that not every delay is denial, not every no is rejection, not every backward step is loss. Sometimes the very things that frustrated you were the tools God used to place you exactly where you needed to be. And when the fullness of time comes, you will realize that every step, every wait, every silence, every disappointment was actually a divine arrangement to bring you face to face with your destiny. Beloved, one of the most difficult seasons in life is when your patience and faith are tested. It feels like you are standing in the hallway of life waiting for a door to open, yet all you hear is silence. You look around and see others moving forward, others celebrating breakthroughs, others testifying of new opportunities. While you remain in the same position, in that moment your heart begins to ask questions. Has God forgotten me? Am I doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with me? But the truth is, waiting seasons are not a sign of abandonment. They are a classroom where patience and faith are trained. Think about how gold is refined. Raw gold has impurities that make it dull, but when it is placed in the fire, the heat removes everything that does not belong. The gold does not enjoy the fire, but the fire makes it valuable. When life seems to heat up, when the pressure feels unbearable, maybe it is not punishment, maybe it is purification. Patience is built when you remain steady under heat, and faith is strengthened when you believe even when nothing changes. Everyday life gives us pictures of this. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You water it daily. You check the soil, you wait with expectation, but nothing appears above the surface for weeks. To the impatient heart, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, roots are spreading, foundations are being laid. Life is developing where the eyes cannot see. Faith is trusting that unseen process. Patience is staying long enough until the first green shoot breaks through the soil. Beloved, some of you are in that soil season. It looks silent, it looks empty, but the roots of your destiny are growing deep. Testing of patience and faith often comes in the form of delay. You prayed and nothing shifted. You worked hard and nothing opened. You gave your best and nothing improved. But understand, this delay is not always denial, it is often development. A child who demands to drive a car at 10 years old is not denied because the father is wicked, but because the father knows the child is not ready. Waiting seasons are proof that God is preparing you for what you asked for. Consider the gym. When you lift weights, the strain you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of growth. Muscles do not grow in comfort, they grow in resistance. The more you endure the pressure, the stronger you become. Faith works the same way. It does not grow when everything is easy. It grows when you have to believe against all odds, when you have to smile in the face of disappointment, when you have to stand firm while others walk away. Patience is also tested in how we respond to the success of others. Sometimes God will intentionally bless someone close to you, not to mock you, but to train your heart. Will you rejoice with them, or will you become bitter? Will you celebrate their testimony as proof that yours is on the way? Or will you sink into jealousy? Beloved, the test of patience is often hidden in your reaction to another person's breakthrough. In daily life, think of baking bread. If you open the oven too soon, the bread collapses because it has not finished rising. Impatience ruins what could have been beautiful. Many destinies have collapsed because they could not endure the oven of waiting. God knows the exact temperature and the exact timing for your life. The testing of patience is simply Him keeping you in the oven long enough for you to rise properly. And then comes faith, that quiet confidence that even when you cannot trace God's hand, you can trust His heart. Faith is waking up every morning with expectation. Even if yesterday ended in disappointment, it is saying, don't know how, I don't know when, but I know it will not always be like this. Faith speaks in the dark what it saw in the light. Beloved, when your patience and faith are tested, do not despise that season. The very pressure that makes you uncomfortable is shaping you into a vessel that can carry glory. The same way diamonds are formed under pressure, your destiny is being shaped in that waiting room. Your tears are watering seeds you cannot yet see. Your endurance is building strength you did not know you had. And your faith is pulling the future into the present, even when your hands are empty. Beloved, as we journey through life, we must come to terms with the fact that what we call delay is often not a punishment, but a process, not rejection, but redirection, not silence, but strategy. There is a wisdom higher than ours, a timing more accurate than our clocks, and a hand stronger than our strength, weaving the pieces of our lives together. And when you understand this, you stop fighting against the waiting seasons and you start cooperating with them. You stop asking, why me? And you start declaring, prepare me. Every man or woman that carried greatness had to pass through the corridors of patience and faith. Greatness is never microwaved. It is always slow cooked. If you want glory, you must endure the hidden seasons. You must embrace the times when no one claps for you, when no one notices your effort, when no one celebrates your sacrifice. But do not be deceived by silence, for even silence speaks. Silence tells you that God is working behind the scenes, arranging, positioning, preparing you for a future that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Sometimes life will push you to the edge where it feels like there is no way forward. But beloved, the edge is not the end. It is the place where wings are born. It is at the edge that eagles learn to fly. It is at the edge that courage is summoned. It is at the edge that you discover you were never meant to crawl when you were designed to soar. So if life has pushed you to the edge, do not fear. It means your wings are about to find expression. Many of you listening have been crying in a secret place, asking how long, asking why it seems others are ahead, asking if God has forgotten. But hear me, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but time and chance happens to them all. And in your appointed time, chance will meet preparation, opportunity will collide with readiness, and destiny will break open in ways that no man can stop. Remember this, beloved, delay is not denial. The fact that it has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. The fact that the door has not opened does not mean the key is lost. Sometimes the blessing is waiting on the right season. Sometimes the right season is waiting on the right version of you. So do not faint. Do not quit. Do not trade your patience for premature exposure. It is better to arrive late in destiny than to arrive early in disaster. Your tears are not wasted, they are watering your tomorrow. Your prayers are not wasted, they are rising like incense before God. Your sacrifices are not wasted, they are writing a story that will be told long after you are gone. And when God is done, the glory that will rest upon your life will make men forget the years of pain, the nights of waiting, the seasons of obscurity. Beloved, you may have been written off by people, but remember, the stone that the builders rejected can still become the cornerstone. You may have been forgotten by those you helped, but remember, the cupbearer may forget. Yet the king will still have a dream that will summon you from the prison to the palace. You may have been mocked by those who thought you were wasting your life, but when God lifts you, the same mouths that mocked you will testify of his faithfulness. Do not measure your life by the speed of others. Everyone runs their own race, and destiny has no traffic. Just because someone overtook you does not mean they are ahead of you, because where you are going, the path is different. Comparison is the thief of joy, but patience is the guardian of peace. Wait with dignity, wait with faith, wait with the confidence that God is not slow, he is precise. So rise from your despair, beloved, and walk with your head lifted. Tell yourself, I am not forgotten, I am not abandoned, I am not behind schedule, I am in process. Tell yourself, I may be hidden, but I am not useless. I may be delayed, but I am not denied. I may be pressed, but I am not crushed. I may be pulled back, but I am only being launched forward. And when the fullness of time comes, you will see that the wait was worth it. The tears were worth it. The pressure was worth it. The pain was worth it. Because when glory arrives, it does not consult your past. It simply shines so brightly that every scar becomes a testimony and every delay becomes proof that the master builder was at work all along. Hear me, people of God, what looks like a delay is not always delay. Sometimes it is God stretching your womb for twins while you are crying for just one child. Sometimes it is God preparing a palace for you while you are begging for a rented house. Sometimes it is God aligning kings to call for you while you are frustrated about not being noticed in your small corner. Do not despise your seasons of silence. Do not curse your moments of waiting, for behind what you call delay is often the preparation for glory. And when that glory finally appears, you will look back and thank God that he didn't answer you when you cried, but when you were ready. Delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is God's signature of trust, saying, I am preparing you for something greater than you can imagine.